friends, Mrs. Day here with our small group activity. Our small group today is called How Big Around? And for this activity, you're going to need some things to measure. So find some objects in your house that you would like to measure, and we're going to use our yarn to measure it. So go in your supply bag and find all your pieces of yarn. It's time for us to get started. Here we go. Okay friends, now that I have my yarn and my objects, it's time for us to get started. Up until now, we've been measuring how tall something is. So here's my marker, and I can say that my marker is this tall. I used my yarn to show how tall my marker is. But today we're going to try something different. Instead of measuring how tall something is, we're going to measure how big is it around. So I have a tennis ball right here, and I'm going to use my string, and instead of measuring how long it is or how tall it is, I'm going to measure how big is it if I go around the tennis ball. So this has a very fancy math word, and it's called the circumference, but it only means going around the outside. So I can tell that my tennis ball is this big all the way around. So that's my tennis ball. Let's try something else that's round. Because it's Halloween time, I have a pumpkin in my classroom. Do you see my pumpkin? There it is. And I'm going to measure how big is my pumpkin around the outside. So let's use one of my yarn pieces, and I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to measure my pumpkin. Now that I have the size of my pumpkin, I'm going to put it next to my tennis ball, and I'm going to see which one is bigger. Is it the tennis ball or the pumpkin? And I can tell this by looking at the size of my yarn. My tennis ball is smaller than my pumpkin because the gray yarn is smaller than my pink yarn. So when I look at my two items, my tennis ball and my pumpkin, I know my tennis ball is smaller going around and my pumpkin is larger going around. Okay, my buddies, now it's your turn. I want you to take the yarn from your bag and go in your house and see what things you can measure all the way around. You can measure some balls if you have them, or maybe you want to measure how big around is your head. Maybe you want to measure how big around is the apple in your kitchen. Go find some objects to measure and have fun with this. Parents, as your children are measuring, it's okay if you need to cut the yarn and trim it to find the right size to match the objects that you're measuring. We sent you home a variety of sizes to get you started, but you can absolutely trim what you have to make it work for what's available in your house. All right, kiddos, I hope you have fun measuring. Remember, we are going around the circle, and the juicy word for around is called circumference. That's a big word for us. So I hope you have fun with this activity. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye-bye.